Okay, so in this video, we're going to look at props. Okay, props are properties. It's short for properties, and we can pass them into components like attributes. Just like you have HTML attributes, like in this case, we have class or class name, we can pass in something to our components. So for the header, let's pass in the actual text, whatever we want here, let's pass in. So we'll say header, and we'll call this branding. Okay, so we can call this whatever we want. So we'll call it branding, and we'll set this equal to contact manager. Okay, so I'm going to save this. Now, the way that we access props in a functional component is a little different from a class component, and I'll show you that in a second. But right now, we're just dealing with header, which is a functional component. So to get the props, we need to pass props in as a parameter. And then we can simply go in here and replace this with an expression, and we can say props dot and then branding. Okay, and the branding just comes from this right here, whatever we call the prop. So let's go ahead and save that, and we should get the same thing. But if I go to the app.js and I say contact manager 1 and I save, you'll see that we get that here. Okay, but I'm going to take that off. And now if we look down in our React tools, and we go on to header, and you'll see down here props, we have branding. Okay, so any props that are associated with a component, it's going to show you in your React tools. So now let's handle the contact. Now this contact has hard-coded data inside of it, which we don't want. We're probably going to want to pass this stuff in as properties. So what I could do is go into app.js, and we could add like name equals John Doe, and let's say email equals jdoe@gmail.com, and what else was it? Phone equals, all right, so I'll save this, and then we'll go into our contact.js, and when it's a class, okay, so this is not a functional component, it's a class component, we access props by using this.props instead of just props.whatever. So let's replace the h4 here. Let's say this.props.name, and then right here we'll say this.props.email, and let's see, right here we'll do this.props.phone. Okay, we'll save, and we get the same thing. So in our app.js, let's create another contact component with different data. So we'll go and we'll paste this in, and we'll change this to, let's say, Karen Smith, and we'll change the email here to Karen@gmail, and we'll change her phone number like that, and then let's save, and now we have two different contact components with different data. And if we look inside our React Dev Tools, it should show the properties. When I click on this, you'll see down here all the different props, and if I click on this one has different props. Now remember destructuring. So this is a good place to destructure, because in all of these properties in this contact component, we're saying this.props.name, this.props.email. What we could do is go right above the return here and do a little destructuring. So we'll put some curly braces here, and let's say we want to get the name, we want the email, and we want the phone, and we want to pull those out of this.props. And then that way we can simply put in name and email and phone and save, and it should give us the same thing. And we can even do it in the header. We could go right above the return and say const, and we'll take out branding and say equal, and it's just props this time, it's not this.props, and then just go down here and get rid of this. Okay, we get the same thing. So destructuring just cleans it up a little bit, makes it look a little neater. Now, in the next video, we're going to talk about type checking and prop types, because what we can do is we can set make sure that these props are a certain type, so like an object or a string or a function or something like that. We can also set default properties, so we're going to look at that in the next video.